Hey everyone, welcome back to the Rollout. I'm Linsay Rousseau.
And I'm Genevieve Marie. And the reason why, oh my God.
We're smiling so much because we finally have like a happy show.
Yes. Yes, we do. I'm sorry, we got to start over because right when it said recording in progress, I really just wanted to say, yes, record me, mommy. Record me. Oh,
Okay, we can start over. We can start
all
over.
right, the giggles are out.
Okay. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Rollout. I'm Linsay Rousseau.
And I'm Genevieve Marie. Hello and welcome.
We have just a fun episode today. This is a game that we listed in our top 5 games we're most looking forward to this year, or top 10. I don't remember what it was. And it has not failed to disappoint. I know, Genevieve, you were up all night playing it. I've been addicted. So we're going to talk about Stray, the most adorable game ever, the feel-good game of the year. Yeah.
It's mostly feel good, and then sometimes it's like Pixar Studios like kicks you in the balls. Like,
okay, I will have to say, like in the opening, when the kitty falls off the thing, I
was like, no. So I started playing last night, and I don't remember when I started. It was around dinner time, which I become an old lady. So it was probably around, I want to say like 7. And I didn't get to bed till like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning.
I think some people have said the fastest they've played through it, I think, is like 5 hours if you're not doing a ton of the side missions.
Oh, I'm doing it all.
Yeah. So if you're doing it all, there's definitely more than 5 hours.
That's the thing, is I'm a completionist, and I'm a puzzle person. I'm a big puzzle person. So I have to go through, like, if there is even the sniff of a puzzle or something to do, I will do it. I will go and I will find it. But yes, when the cat, because I mean, this isn't spoilers. You all know
so
that he gets lost.
I think in the trailer.
It's in the trailer. He gets lost. He slides down the thing. I literally cried.
I know. It was so sad, his little face, and I was just like, do I cry when that happens to humans? No, but when it happens to cats, absolutely.
Look, here's the thing: is that, and while I was playing this, I actually had a very interesting thought that I want to pose to you. And then I do want to pose it to the chat / the comments section, because, and I think I'm going to ask this question like going forward, but do you, when you play a game that you have a character protagonist, like a named character protagonist, like Aloy, like the cat from Stray, I mean, he doesn't have a name, but when you have a character protagonist, do you view yourself as this protagonist, or do you view yourself as the player in charge / like having, having agency over the protagonist? Like, here's the difference. So if you view yourself as the protagonist, in your mind, you're going to say, I'm going to go here. This scene is affecting, like, if they're having like a one-to-one conversation with one of their family members, it's like, I am talking to my dad, rather than the cat is talking to its dad, or Aloy is talking to Rost.
I would just say it depends on the game and the game style. So like for Aloy in this, definitely feel like I am not the first person. But for, say, like Skyrim or the Elder Scrolls, where I've created that character, I spend most of the game in first person view, as opposed to third person. I definitely feel like it's myself playing. So yeah, I think so for this one, I definitely felt like I was like the cat's companion as opposed to being the cat. But I also kind of felt like I was more emotionally invested in the fact that this was a cat as opposed to a human, which maybe that just means I'm antisocial. I'm okay with that.
I don't think so. I really think that this game would be a wonderful empathy test.
It really would.
Because the reason why I brought this up is because I feel the same way that you do. I consider myself an outside, spectator And my character is the person that I, have to take care of,
Right.
like I have to, you're kind of this, outside force that's leading this character through its journey, making choices. And essentially, like, you're kind of adopting the person and trying to take care of them, make sure they don't die some horrible death. And this cat, oh my God, this cat is exactly, I don't know, it's kind of like pressing a thumb into a wound every single time, like it gets hurt, or every single time something goes wrong. And because I personally feel responsible.
Yes, I think that's it. You're right.
For the protection of this cat.
Right.
Because ultimately it's the player's choices and or the player's I'd say level of skill that either keeps the cat alive, and here's something that when I was watching the trailer I was very afraid of, is what if the cat could die? And I figured it out. And I never want that to happen again. I figured it out. The cat can die.
It can. And it's devastating. And well, we all know what happens when you kill someone's pet. It was literally the plot device behind John Wick, and we saw how well that turned out. So yeah, we humans, or at least those of us that are animal people, are very protective of our animals and will kill people for them.
So playing
robots.
Right. Playing this game. So you don't really, there aren't actual humanoid enemies to kill. You're not killing anything except for
like the little drones.
They're like little bacteria.
Yeah.
And so they're like amoebas basically that are kind of overblown. And so like it's kind of adorable because there is violence in this game, but the violence that you are allowed to or are able to enact in the world is so minuscule and tiny, and it's barely even there. So it kind of, and we're going to talk about this with Pathologic too, the amount of action that you can take to protect yourself is very minimal.
Yeah, it involves a lot of running.
It involves a lot of running. You're nobody's, like in Pathologic, you're not going to be very heroic. You're kind of just going to go running around and dying a lot and trying to escape a lot. In this, you are running around, hopefully not dying too much, and trying to escape a lot of things. And, eventually, you'll kind of level up a little bit to where you'll have certain tools to help you. However, it's not a lot. And
no, I mean, it's got a little bit of puzzle solving, some exploration, some platforming challenges. But even with the platforming challenges, you don't have a dedicated jump button. You have to line up, you see the up arrow, and then you can jump around. So yeah, it's definitely a game for all ages.
Yeah. So I was actually just talking to my friend last night and his son, and because I randomly answered a DM of his right before I was going to go to bed at some ungodly hour, some reason he was up too. And the first question is, why are you up so late? And so of course I had to explain. I'm like, oh, I'm playing Stray, and I couldn't leave it where I felt that the cat was in any danger. So I had to make it, I think I made it to Midtown, and then I got to a place where you could sleep on a robot's chest. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and here we go. And this is where we're ending it, put a nice pin in that, and you can leave the game. You could go to sleep, because guess what? You have work tomorrow.
The cat is safe now. The cat is safe.
The cat's safe. You can leave the game. but he said that his son has been playing it obsessively and that he hasn't had one chance to even pick up the controller and give it a try. So yes, this game is definitely for all ages. I really love I love the dynamics. I love the dynamics that they have in it that encourages play.
Yes, from the very beginning. I mean, like when you just launch into the game, you know, when it's getting you comfortable with it, it shows that you can rub up against each other and you can scratch things, and you have a dedicated meow button, which who hasn't always wanted a dedicated meow button, which does end up serving a purpose later on in the game. But
yes, it does serve purposes, but fuck, I love that.
Well,
okay, so like how quickly did you get the trophy for a little chatty?
Oh yeah. And then
pretty much immediately.
And then the other thing that I just kept having to do, I mean, again, you know, we all have those people in our lives who are the ones that play games and destroy everything they can destroy just for funsies. But in this one, you can literally just have the cat knock shit over. And again, it does serve a purpose at some point, but it's like, it's because again, I have 2 cats. So it was so enjoyable to just get up, and they even had the paw right. It's just like floop, floop, floop. And you're just like, yes, I feel so satisfied knocking this paint bin over.
Here's the thing. What I really love about this game is the fact that the mechanics are so clever that and this is going to sound counterintuitive, but their usefulness seems almost secondary.
Yeah, because like, it's not complicated.
Their utility seems almost secondary. Like I kept batting things around and knocking paint cans over, making huge messes. There's a moment where there's 2 robots and they're playing, it looks like Mahjong. Or like a robot version of it. Mm-hmm. And I just sat in front of the table for a good 5 seconds and then had the cat jump up on the table, and it just completely obliterates the entire game that they're playing. And then the robots have a little freak out. They're just like, and then they go back and they reset the game. Because I mean, they're robots. So obviously they have, you know, their memories are excellent. So they reset up the game, and then you can, as the cat, knock it over as many times as you want. I think I screamed. I think I cackled. Screamed when I first did it. And and I literally said to nobody, because my apartment is empty. I literally said to nobody, this is the best part of the game. This is the best thing that I have done all night.
I have to admit, like early on in the game, when you have like one of the first puzzles you experience and you're knocking shit over, when you jump up onto the table where there's a computer and you jump up on the keyboard and it just starts doing the notes, and it just keeps going. And I'm like, yes.
I know. So the cat just stands on the keyboard and you can like walk across it, and it just like does the JFK, JJSD, FFGGG, and it's amazing. And then the computer basically responds like, error, does not compute. What are you doing?
Off of me.
But before then, what I absolutely loved these tiny little details, because in the very beginning, did you notice the security camera?
Yeah.
Like that, you know, and it follows you. But my favorite part about that is if you get up to the security camera and you look at it and you meow, the security camera nods.
I didn't do that.
Yes. It's so cute. So yeah, you meow and then it just yeah, because you know when you meow and then it like shows you, it'll give you like directions with the lights and stuff, which I thought was really incredibly cute.
So cute. And it was reminding me of some movie, and I can't for the life of me remember it now, but as it was happening, I was like, oh, this was used in a movie or a TV show or something where the lights just kept pointing you. And I was like, oh, damn it, I couldn't remember it. But yeah. I loved how they used the background and how they used the environment, and it's so vivid and bright. And that's one thing I really did appreciate about this game is, yes, it's post-apocalyptic. Yes, it's cyberpunky, but it's still very bright and almost warm feeling. It doesn't have desolation feel that a lot of post-apocalyptic games do, which I think
the color palette is beautiful.
Oh, it is. It really is.
I honestly think this world really does inform the inhabitants living in it.
Right.
Because the inhabitants living in it are these very peaceful, non-war-like robots who are also
servants and whatever. Yeah.
They're also very vulnerable too, because they're slow, they're clunky. Yeah. They are in a lot of ways very analog, and it feels like if I just took like an old digital clock, like an alarm clock, and like placed it on top of like a couple of tin cans, that would be one of the robots.
Right.
But because of and none of them are mean to the cat, like some of them are dismissive, but they're never actively mean. Nobody is like yelling at the cat. Even when even when I jumped up on the table and messed up their game, they were just upset about their game and they didn't really pay any attention to me. They're just like, oh God, great. Now we got to set it back up again. But I really think that the characters in here are very warm and they're very kind, and everybody is just trying to survive, but not in the Walking Dead way of like, we're trying to survive and
where your stress level is like
fight against humanity. The real enemy is humanity in a crisis. And it's like, no, that's not in this game.
No, I mean, humanity probably was the enemy, but they've long since left this town to its devices. So,
but that's interesting. It's interesting to think about that, because it also, like, the robots in this game actually do have good memories and good connections with humans.
Yeah.
Like you see like past relics of humans and they look upon them fondly. And, you know, they're in one place, there's a graffiti on the wall that says RIP humans with a heart next to it. Mm. And, you know, the way that B12 talks to you, your little robot companion, you know, they also can give you some background on what the robots kind of feel about humanity. So in no area of this game do you feel like the inhabitants living in it, the sentient inhabitants, are in any way filled with malice or, you know, are bitter about, you know, what their situation. What I really like is that sort of anti Walking Dead mentality, where it's people who are coming together, who are working together and making a community, making the best out of a bad situation, protecting each other, and not doing the like, it's me against the world and everybody is enemy mine. And I'm only going to protect my own. We're going to protect everybody else and each other. And that's why this environment is so warm and the color palette is so nice. Like even though everything is so dingy and very much used, everything is used with a purpose. Nothing is like this, you know, these lawn chairs are junky. It's like, no, these lawn chairs are, you know, a part of our bar, or, you know, these, you know, all of this old trash and stuff has been, you know, reused and is, you know, everything has a purpose. And it's really nice to see something so wholesome in a, you know, in a day and age where we get games that on, you know, at their, you know, on their face are, you know, pretty violent and have like, you know, if they're set in post-apocalyptic worlds, they're very, you know, they're upsetting, they're violent, they're, they see the worst in humanity and assume that that's going to be what, you know, what reality would be, which I mean, like, look, I'm not even going to get into that debate, but like, I like this post-apocalyptic future rather than
I do too. And like, I have to say, this came at the perfect time because I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I've been really stressed out because of life, the world, things that have been happening. And sometimes like I can't sit and watch like a super dramatic movie or TV show. I just can't take it. And the same thing with video games. It's like, I can't sit down and play something that's going to have my stress level through the roof. Whereas this game, I was like, oh, I can just chill and relax and just play. And it was so enjoyable. You know, and even if it took me a while, because I'm not dearly as good at puzzles as you are, even if it took me a while to figure out how to do a certain puzzle, and it's like, God damn it, I can't find the last piece to plug into this thing. It was still so much fun being able to just jump around and still knock stuff off and see things happen as a cat, that it like didn't even frustrate me as much as it normally would have.
Yeah, I think again, it's going back to that principle that I think they, that seems to be what they're using, the devs are using, is play first and then functionality and utility comes later, or comes out, or is a product of literally just playing and using the mechanics of just being a cat.
Yeah.
In order to get you, in order to get you places, and in order to further the narrative. Because they also, when you look at it, you're like, these people really wanted you to be a cat in all senses of the word. They really wanted you to have the functionality of a cat, the limitations of a cat, but also the advantages. Because most of the time, the robots, the people that you speak to, since they are clunky, since they are slow, they'll look at you and they'll be like, well, you're small and you're agile, and you can get in places that we can't.
Exactly.
And so you kind of do feel a little heroic, because you do have these advantages, even though you're so small and you're so vulnerable. You're kind of like you're kind of like the thief, like you're kind of like the hobbit.
You're the little rogue. You're the little, exactly.
Little rogue. You're a little hobbit creature, just, running around.
Which I really enjoyed, because it shows that, and if you want to start, extrapolating, similarities or comparisons to, it shows that like might isn't always right. And the biggest, strongest creature doesn't always have to be the one that wins. Sometimes it's the little guy, it's the small guy that's agile and adaptable and smart and can get into small places and figure out these puzzles, which I thought was a really great message also to be sending, that, you don't need a lot of guns and, big burly dudes to defeat, the creatures of the post-apocalyptic world. Like, you can be the little guy.
I mean, let's put it this way. It certainly isn't COD. And I honestly believe that this story and this game can be appealing to a huge swath of people.
So many.
I don't think that, like,
I mean, again, I know diehard gamers that are playing this. I know Twitch streamers that are playing this. Like,
we will be talking about Pathologic, which is
in our next episode. Yep.
Which very different. Is it is not arguable that game appeals to like this big of a demographic. Me being definitely in the center of that, because that game is just that's my jam. But again, I'm a puzzle person. I live to be under stressful situations. But I understand that sort of torturous kind of gameplay where the point is to be miserable is not for everybody.
No, I'm pretty sure I was this close to rage throwing my controller at one point, because I was just like, God damn it, I can't take this anymore. It's time to play Stray.
I made
exactly what I did. I did not throw the controller, because then I would have been sad if I broke it, but I set it down and I switched to Stray. So, you know what? There's the strategy. You play the two games back to back. Once you've gotten fed up with Pathologic, switch over to Stray to relax, and then you can go back.
So here's the thing is, like, they actually do have quite a few things in common. The main thing being the sort of helpless protagonist.
Yeah.
But in this game, you learn agency through your disadvantages, or what you perceive at first as disadvantages, but then you go along and you learn that, oh no, it's, this isn't, something that's going to hold me back. This, these mechanics are actually going to help me further my quest. And again, that's another, you know, high praise to the devs, because they really integrated every single aspect of being a cat into actually being able to competently and cleverly play the game.
Right.
You know, my hat is off to, you know, every single person who
because
made
it's
this
a game. It doesn't have, you know, and the thing is like, you know, we love talking about voiceover performance in video games. We don't have any of that. You know, some people could be like, oh, this looks like it's going to be really boring. There's no real talking going on, you know, but it was just as entertaining, if not more so than, you know, some of those other AAA games that, you know, have BAFTA winning actors in them and stuff like that. So it's like the fact that they were able to put out a game where at its core, you were just playing this creature that, unless you are a heartless sociopath, you can show empathy for. And I don't know, maybe there's people out there that are diehard dog people and just can't play as cat, but I never once felt bored. I didn't feel like I was missing out. You know, I thought it was just as engaging, even without explosions and, you know, lots and lots of dialogue and things like that. So,
right. And the item collecting too, like,
yeah,
I am pretty obsessed with item collecting, not necessarily like guns and swords and like weaponry collecting. I couldn't really care less about that. When I say item collecting, again, I must be the most boring gamer out there. I mean like documents and things and like little things that add to the world building, where it's literally like either you collect tchotchkes or it's document based or photo based or whatever you can like snatch your hands on to further build the world. That is my freaking jam. The game Control has hundreds of documents that are both clever, funny, and intensely, like, a lot of the documents hidden in Control really like reveal like some mind-blowing things about the Control / Alan Wake universe.
Well, then that's the thing that's so great about that. And I'm kind of the same way. Like anytime there's an audio recording or something, it's like, and I'm also the person that, like, when, you know, in games that do have voiceover, I'm the person that goes through all the dialogue chains. Cause I'm like, I want to know all the things. I know I've already talked to you, but I'm going to try and talk to you 4 more times just to see if there's more you can tell me. Cause same way. I want to know everything that's going on in that universe, even if it doesn't necessarily, you know, pertain to the gameplay.
Right. I think people also have an obsession with, or a lot of people have an obsession with data collecting and information, you know, and collecting information, because I mean, we're naturally curious. Yeah. But this game, like, you can collect, I think the most that I collected at a time was maybe like 10 things. And other than that, my item collection, because I mean, you only have your tiny little cat backpack to hold the stuff in, so it makes sense. But, you know, I carried around that postcard for forever. But like, that was like the one thing that I held on to for the majority of the time that I played. But I mean, that's gone at some point, I believe. But the item collecting is very sparse in this game, but each item serves a very important purpose, or serves a purpose to a side mission. Right. That the side missions, you can get through them pretty quickly, but they're also very engaging because they are puzzle-like. Yeah. And and this is also a testament to the world building, because a lot of how the world is set up, especially in the beginning in the slums, like if you collect an item at, like, say one of the robots' houses and it says go to the bar is pretty much just out the window, and then you go to the bar, you collect that one, and it's like go to grandma's,
all the time, like going across the entire map to
you're pretty much door to door to door almost the whole time. And that's very fun and engaging, because you can find ways, the best route through. Like if you start to remember and memorize the place, you're like, well, I can go on the roof here, and then I can go through this window that I just opened, and this, that, the other thing. And it's really fun because everything seems like a chain reaction rather than I'm just going to grab this thing and then I'm going to play for 3 more hours until I can make this thing useful. And I'm back in that village.
Yep.
That's like 100 miles away.
Right.
No, this one is it. Again, the best way to describe it is like a chain reaction. I got this thing. I just go here. And then I got that thing. I go here. I collected all the things I need. Now I can open the safe, got the document. Now I can give it to this robot. We're good. We're done.
Yeah.
And
Moving
it's just like,
next one. Yeah.
Right. And then you move on to the next one. I love how quick, again, like you said, there is very little to make this game feel tedious.
Right.
Even when you are getting lost, there's still stuff to do, and there's still interesting things to keep you engaged. And and if you are lost, you're never lost for long.
Right. Exactly. Thank you, Neon Signs. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Love it.
Yep. So we listed this as one of our top games of the year. We are not at all disappointed.
It didn't disappoint. I'm so happy.
I will be spending the rest of the weekend probably finishing up this game. But for all of you out there, whatever age you are, again, unless you're a sociopath, play the game.
Even if you are a sociopath,
let your grandparents play the game. You will not be disappointed.
It's a beautiful game. Yeah. 10 out of 10 will play again and again and again.
Yep.
So yes, this has been the rollout, and we will geek with you next week. That's what it is. Okay. I was just going to make something up for a second there, but then I remembered. Okay, cool. Yes. Bye guys. Have a wonderful day.